by-elections and to the 2027 general election. But the main reason or the main point of politics is to enable the provision of services to Kenyans. Do you think, Bwana Gakuya, that what is happening with SHA has reached crisis level enough to ensure that our attention, and when I say our attention, from all levels of governance, the National Assembly included, that we've gotten to a point when this should attract our attention?
Thank you, Demuri. Allow me to salute viewers wherever they are watching this morning show from. And coming to the big question, whether SHA is really making any good to the services. One, let me say, there was a big haste to convert NHIF to SHA. And probably what could have made this to be acceptable is maybe the deliverance of services that NHIF by then it was unable to have providing. But considering the new service provider, who is SHA, and the former NHIF, I can't see any difference at all. In fact, we are even in more crisis than before. And the big question is, until when this one is going to be sustainable? There is no way that we can close our eyes and see that these private service providers, which want to close services, are not really asking for their dues. And if the government cannot be able to pay them, because they're asking for close to 43 billion for now, and they're also saying that there are pending bills that are not taken care of from the defunct NHIF. The big question is, this particular service provider, SHA, ought to have been doing better. Why? Because today, those who are contributing to this kitty are contributing big money than before. Assume today, everybody out there before was contributing anything to do with 300. But today, there are those who are contributing depending on their earnings. And therefore, you'll find somebody like a member of parliament who is contributing almost 16,000 shillings. And the reason why probably we have been quiet on this, because it was never discussed anywhere, and we never agreed to be to this kind of reduction. But we went mute because we thought that, in fact, this is a service provider who will come up and boost these services, and then the people will be happy. But it's unfortunate that from the day one, people who are looking for dialysis services are always in terrible crisis to date. Their issues has never been taken care of on the right way. Number two, you realize that even if somebody dies and he is a full member of SHA, it can only offer 10%. Then my big question is, what is the difference between the former defunct and the current? And what are we to achieve from these 100 billion, 104 billion project? Right. To me, this one we were conned, and something has to be done, and the government should think on it. If it is not working, get people back to where they deserve. Okay. Or because there's no need of trying to sell something which is not sellable. Right. As of now, those are service providers that are saying that the SHA is broke. If SHA is broke and it's the insurance cover, then how do we expect it to flourish and provide services required? Kenyans are going to be heading to a big trouble. And I think if there is something that we should not joke, we should not joke with the lives of the people. And we may joke with, there are two areas that Kenya and our government, we must be serious on. This is the health of Kenyans and education. These are two things that we cannot close our eyes. Whether these services are devolved or not, we cannot at any point fail to keep on touch, seeing how things are working. And as a policymakers, I think we have a duty to rethink, to relook, and if it's not working, then we ask the public what they want it to be.
Okay.
Because at the end of the day, people can only support something which has a product. If it does not have, then close it and move forward.
Bwana Lotee, in exactly 7 days' time, it will be 1 year since the official rollout of SHA. And you've been here on this panel and talked about the good intentions behind the thinking of this SHA and the move from NHIF to this one. But for a patient anywhere in Kenya, good intentions are not the answer. They need treatment. Kenyans who are fully paid their premium for SHA cannot access the same services at private medical facilities. Don't you think that, yes, as Bwana Gakuya says, it is time to rethink this plan, however good the intentions were initially?
Well, thank you, Indimole, for this. Personally, I think it's important that we do not discredit SHA on some of the threatening issues that continues to follow SHA. 1 year, SHA is not even 1 year. 7 days it will be 1 year. A 1-year-old child still have issues. A 1-year-old child still learns. A 1-year-old child still explores the world. So for me, I don't think we need to say SHA is bad because we've actually seen SHA working. The only thing we need to do is to always remodel SHA so that any of the issues that we encounter is worked on well. I think the issue at hand now is that the shifting of the teachers and the military from SIGNET or the other private institution health provider to SHA. That is exactly what is happening. And the hospitals are rejecting on the basis that when SHA took over from NHIF, there was around 33 billion shillings that was owed, which was not paid. And so the health facilities are thinking, if now they're moving from SIGNET and the other private institution, private providers to SHA, then nobody's going to pay for the bills that they are owing from these others. So that is, it becomes a little bit complicated for them because they think that SHA then will not be able to pay for the bills that is owed on the other side where they are moving on from. And the reason why, it's not that SHA is not working. It is the transition period. And the transition period is a learning curve. And I think the government committed. When SHA took over from NHIF, we actually saw the government saying that we are aware of the bills. We are aware of what hospitals are owed by NHIF, despite the fact that even that is owed by NHIF, some of them were fraudulent. And I think we were here, Fred, a month ago, and we were complaining about the inflation and fraudulent claims that is being meted on SHA by private institutions. And up to now, the cabinet secretary has said is not going to pay 10.6 billion shillings that is being claimed by private providers because there was a public outcry that the issue that bedevils NHIF is actually...
But those are valid claims.
That is why they are valid. They could be valid claims.
No, could be. They are legitimate.
They could be that the reason why the cabinet secretary, and I think Kenyans said while we were here, they said those are fraudulent. And it was right for the cabinet secretary to listen to Kenyans and say, because it is claimed that they're fraudulent, let us put them into what we call verification. And so, whether the cabinet secretary did not outright reject paying the 10.6 billion. He said we need to verify because that is all that affected NHIF. NHIF suffered because there were a lot of fraudulent claims where a mother is purported to have given birth three times in 1 year through cesarean. Okay. We've actually seen the same now coming to SHA. So I think the cabinet secretary is right to say as much as we're going into a Nobel, very nice health system called SHA, let us not bring in the issues that affected SHA.
Are we therefore
NHI.
saying, Wakili, that these private institutions are being unfair to the government by making these demands so soon, and so soon meaning 1 year after the rollout of this big program?
Thank you very much. Let me remind Kenyans that we have a Court of Appeal hearing on the validity, the constitutionality of SHA. And let me remind Kenyans that the Constitutional Court declared SHA, the laws under SHA, to be unconstitutional. So how they became constitutional, I do not know. And one of the objections was that the honorable members of the National Assembly have absolutely no clue even what provisions are in that SHA. They merely just passed, rubber-stamped, and allowed that to pass. But what I hear Honorable Member Lotee say is that, oh, let's have this utopia and let's go on experimenting with it while we risk Kenyans' lives. It's not rational at all. Because if you are going to incept a system to replace what you call defunct, non-functional, or oppressive system, then you must have worked out not only the roadmap, but also look at the bottlenecks. Did they theorize and that their theorems actually never worked? Or was it that they were very ambitious? Let me say this. SHA is a project for which the president has said personally, I'm not going to let it fail. Come rain, come shine. So he's personally invested in SHA. But look at the problem that we are faced with. At a very personal level, Article 46 of the Constitution gives every Kenyan the right to services and goods of a quality that guarantees and ensures their health and their economic prosperity. What do we have now? The police and the teachers accosted by a scenario where they cannot have treatment because SHA is failing them. And why is that so? Because the government does not want to see the reality that, look, you have private institutions. You cannot lump them together with public institutions that are health providers, that they do have overheads, that they have doctors working under them. And these are not on government's payroll. And the scheme that you have in order to provide these health services is that you are going to enable them through the SHA forum and that they can be able then to sustain that scheme. It is no longer tenable that a private institution, you get into your private pocket, you want to fund a government health service, and then when you go for the payment and you say that, look, these are the payments that we have incurred in the process of meeting the obligations under your SHA, they tell you, no, those are fraudulent. And they tell you that, okay, fine, we have forwarded to the DCI. Then they tell you, okay, fine, we did treat these so many people, pay us while you say that you investigate that. Then they tell you that, look, we're giving you 14 days. Look into this, and they don't. And then these private institutions, they tell you that, wait. We no longer can do this as Kenyan people. If you want to come for any health service, you pay cash and you go home. What is that doing? It is negating the very SHA concept, which was to digitize people, was to digitize the processes. And I'm very surprised that honorable members of parliament never got to question this Digital Health Act. You're collecting people's health data. This health data is not even being stored in this country. It is being traded by foreigners. And then in the end, it is being exposed through these data breaches all over. And even what is more shocking is that the honorable members of the National Assembly have allowed a private entity to manage these SHA funds. And yet the Constitution says that every penny that is collected from the Kenyan people should go to the consolidated fund. What we are saying is SHA is not for the Kenyan people. It is a utopia that exists in the mind of the president and they who support it, but on the ground, it's not functioning.
Yes, and this is a question to the members of parliament now, that the fact that SHA appears to be failing, according to Wakili, is that to a huge extent, it also talks about the failure of members of the National Assembly to do their job and ensure that it is watertight, and as far as legislation, the legal framework around it, to ensure that some of these challenges that are being faced now, because ideally, the work of legislators is to probably add quality to government policy by ensuring that it is properly ring-fenced under proper legislation. Do you agree, Bwana Gakuya, that on that front, you failed?
Let us all agree that as much as a policy can be as good as it can be, there can be some teething issues. And where I cannot support my good colleague is where we are saying that 1 year is it's like a pilot process. Because for sure, SHA did not came as a new insurance. It came in to replace NHIF. So there was an existing a national insurance fund. And what we can say, Dimboli, here, let us not put any blame to anybody. But we need to ask ourselves, is the funds that Kenyans are contributing to the kitty really assisting Kenyans? Are they getting value of their money?
Do you know about a payroll?
Whether it is who or who, are we getting value of the money? And in this case, without pointing finger to anybody, this is where we need to move to a universe and ask ourselves, do we really need to have these kind of services out of this particular SHA? Because SHA came to rescue the problems that we had there before. But if we have seen it is not working and it is not providing services required, it is not moving, then we need to rethink what are we supposed to do as a country. Because surely, if the reason to bring the SHA was to is to remove mess that was there before, then we are in a bigger mess. It tells you that what we have taken, the route we have taken, is not the right direction.
Yes. And the question now is,
without
is there a role that you play as a member of the National Assembly in redirecting our thinking in?
Let us agree. Let us agree on one thing, that the way that the National Assembly or the Parliament is made is that it has what we call committees that goes into a tandem to check, and that's why there is this oversight. And that's we need that committee of healthy. It should bring a report. Because actually they are the one who has the daily contact with this service provider. And they are the people to bring a report to the floor of the House, tell the House, these are the problems. And if these are problems we cannot be able to solve, are we better in where we are, or can we get to where we were there before?
But Mheshimiwa, there was a report. There was a report.
Gentlemen, allow us to take a short break. We'll be back to finish this conversation because even Bwana Lotee, you need to contribute and answer that question.
I will answer
on behalf of members of the National Assembly. Wakili, I'll come back to you as well. You're watching Morning Cafe today. Matters health dominating our discussion this part. We'll talk about politics later. Teachers police face SHA medical crisis, and SHA crisis leaves patients stranded nationwide. We'll be back in a short while.
Kids and families, get ready for the most fun-packed show around, Kids on the Block. Join us for awesome music, magical storytime adventures, and super cool arts and crafts. Plus, we pop tasty treats in our cooking corner. Learn, laugh, and create with us. Kids on the Block, where every day is a brand new adventure. Don't miss it.
Rise and shine with the ultimate morning power play from Monday to Friday, 6 a.m. to 8 a.m. Join Fred Indemuli.
Time for us to take a look at the headlines this morning
as he takes you straight to the heart of the nation on Morning Cafe. From breaking down political intrigues to unpacking the stories shaping our country, this is where tough questions meet hard truths.
The president says he has cancelled, then they say, Igwe.
Stay ahead, stay informed, and stay connected. It's your go-to morning fix on politics, policy, and the pulse of the nation.
Raila Odinga has put Kenya's interests first for many times.
The State of the Nation with Fred Indimuli, Monday to Friday, 6 a.m. to 8 a.m. only on TV 47. Your morning, your nation, your voice.
Welcome back. You're watching Morning Cafe on TV 47. We continue discussing matters health provision and serious disagreements here even during the break on whether or not SHA is working. And I think that has become the statement. Is SHA working? SHA is not working. Bwana Lotee, the question is now, the role that members of the National Assembly play in ensuring that some of these government policies are actually watertight and they work for the people, because these are the people you represent. If it's not working, a patient in Kacheliba knows that there is an MP by the name Titus Lotee,
Sure.
will ensure that it works.
Sure.
Do you agree that the National Assembly has failed Kenyans in ensuring that SHA works?
I don't think that the National Assembly has failed. And to put records straight, when political parties were campaigning for the 2022 elections, they put their manifesto. And if you look at the manifesto of both the rival parties then, the Azimio coalition and the Kenya Kwanza coalition, they all had this health system that is supposed to work. And so the members of parliament, having come in through political parties, in their numbers, they are supposed to ensure that the policies that were actually discussed during the campaigns are actually put into practice. And SHA was one of them. And because of the majority in parliament, and including those in the opposition who believe that there is an health system that is required, we are actually to pass this. It doesn't matter what you think about SHA or not SHA. What we know is that the Azimio coalition promised Kenyans that if they cling to power, they're going to give them a good health system. And the Kenya Kwanza did the same. And so members of parliament are actually doing what they believe.
Allow me to ask you this question, because one of the issues raised back then was that there was no proper formula to ensure that those people who are not in formal employment actually make contributions to SHA. Because some of the issues raised is that SHA is probably broke and not able to fund all these services. Do you feel that the legislators did a good job in ensuring that everyone is brought on board in as far as contributing to the
I want
program?
to say this, Fred, without blinking. I want to say that the people that are actually fighting SHA now are the people that benefited from the loopholes that were created by the NHIF. So they have actually come to SHA. You find them saying NHIF was better than SHA, and yet if we compare both NHIF and SHA, NHIF had a lot of issues which SHA is trying to address, including manipulation of the system. And even when Kenyans were complaining recently that SHA is actually getting the problems that NHIF had of people overclaiming, the cabinet secretary said that we need to ensure that we verify every claim. The people that are even fighting SHA now, the people that are saying that we need to kill SHA so that NHIF come back, are the people that really benefited unfairly. And they took monies from public coffers unfairly through claims that are fictitious. I'll tell you, anybody fighting SHA now is a public enemy to the people of this country, because SHA is addressing issues that NHIF could not. And again, every citizen of this country deserves to be treated through a proper health system.
You've not addressed the issue of funding, because there are serious concerns, and they've been raised through the media, that the issue is that SHA is not able to meet all the pending bills because the contributions do not cover the claims. And this is because a majority of Kenyans who are not in formal employment are not contributing to the system. Don't you think that that is due to lack of a proper legislative framework?
First of all, if today you look at even what this, what we call the RUPA is saying, they've actually agreed that outpatient are treatable. And so if we got a system that can be able to treat all outpatients, and the president said it very clearly recently, that anybody coming in for an outpatient through SHA is treated. Probably what we're talking about is the inpatient. And so, first of all, we will need to appreciate that SHA is working. that anybody, and again, most of the patients coming to our hospital facility are people that are coming through an outpatient. If they are able to be treated, then we can say that we have addressed half of the problems in this country. So let us not try to pour cold water on SHA, yet we know SHA is actually facing a lot of resistance from the fictitious claimants, not Kenyans.
Final word on this, so that we move to the politics now.
It's very unfortunate that an honorable member of parliament is saying that anyone who is criticizing SHA is an enemy of the state. Come on. This is a problem with the thinking of the leadership in this country. And we need a paradigm shift. We need a change. Because if you tell me that this cup is black, and I can see with my eyes, everybody can see objectively, this is not black, it is white. What are you telling me? I should just close up my eyes. I should be blind to the fact. Now here is a complaint, a legit complaint by they who are within the system and saying that, look, there are valid cases that are coming up to SHA for approval, but they're being rejected, and they're saying that we have capped, and they're saying we will not treat these cancer patients because we've exhausted the cap. What is that? There was a legitimate expectation on the part of they who are in the system. And Rupa is saying that, look, we have done our very best, but the system of SHA is wholly and totally unsustainable. But what does this speak of? It speaks of a nation led by people, policymakers, whose priorities are wholly lopsided. And if I'm not going to be veering very off the tangent, these are corrupt people. Big Pharma is supposed to be benefiting through SHA, big time. And our priority should be that we should be investing in homeopathic, or at least treatment that is natural. A nation that invests such billions of money through medication, and we're not even manufacturing majority of those drugs, medication, locally. We have to import. So who's the beneficiary of this? The foreigner, the foreign company, the big pharma. And this big pharma is probably paying some of these people to sustain and maintain this sort of arrangement, while the average Kenyan person is therefore driven off the edge of existence, does not enjoy health facility and care, contrary to the Constitution, and nobody is caring, but in fact, instead of caring, they are just showing them and telling them, you are an enemy of the state, like we have heard. What do we do as a people? Easy that we say, let's go on, let's try fixing these, which is, according to them who are inside us, cannot be sustained. They are telling you in black and white, it's unsustainable. Swallow your pride. Let's go back to NHIF. When you feel that you have fixed it enough, then we can say that this is it. But lastly, I have to ask the Kenyan people, really, if the government is a monopoly provider of a service, the monopoly provider of a service, SHA, and it is railroading and forcing you into it, one, Article 36 of the Constitution says you can never be compelled to join any association or group or any entity against your will. Come on. If I'm healthy, if I'm just taking care of myself, I maintain my, health status, and you're forcing me to get into a system that at the very bare minimum is failing me. Oh, come on, Kenyan people. We have just to say, no, come on. Right. We are getting into a socialist. Is it a communist society? Is it a socialist, governance?
All right, Wakili. Thank you for that. And yes, the question boils down to, is SHA working or not? Allow me to read some feedback that we have here from our viewers. Fred Mukwa says, MTI used don't favor the less fortunate. I don't get what he's saying. Apareng Apax Elijah is saying it is working in the North Rift is following. I think that could be one of your constituents probably.
Should be.
In West Pokot.
A very bright young man.
Akoth Marceline says one term siku zote, this thing is not working at all. Watching live from Kitale Birunda, Willie Bazu. Jessica Esther Makongo says streaming live. Health Insurance Solutions, you have a medical cover for yourself or family, whether you have a payslip or not. Get in touch for assistance. We want after biashara achana na sisi wewe. Rogers Nyariki, KTK, Amsterdam, Netherlands, tuko tuned. Thank you for watching all the way from Netherlands. Good morning, Wesley Gibson, and Eunice Leting says following you from Kipkaren River. Pili Pili Hoho says he's in as well. Thank you so much for your contributions. Keep watching TV47 on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. TV47 on TikTok and on X it's TV 47. Digital, one more. Crispin Okumu says, it started well last year, but it was destroyed the moment they demanded yearly payments. Yes, indeed. In a week's time, 7 days from today, it'll be exactly 1 year since the official rollout of the SHA.
If you can allow me just to add a small light on that, what we need to see is end result. End result, a patient needs service when he gets into a particular health center or any other health services. But let me tell you, it is not appearing well at all when a patient is suffering, when already paid for a particular service. Mm-hmm. It is not forthcoming. And therefore, my appeal is, if it is not working, let us not hold there. Yes, because we may hold there and it's not going to work. We have given it enough time. A year is quite a maximum time. So I think if a child was to grow at this particular time, could have grown, and now it should be working.
All right.
So for us, it is not working, and let us agree that it's not working, so that whatever it requires to be done to make it work is done.
Okay.
The ministry should do its part and make sure that, in fact, the service is well provided.
And the National Assembly too. That's getting back from recess.
Because National Assembly is whistleblower, and they are the oversight. They should oversight and make noise.
All right. Yeah. Thank you for that. And this is where we at least pause that conversation about SHA. I want us to move on.